it's been 5 years since this case has been on, and finally now the federal government has decided to discontinue with this particular case, pursuing the issue of treason against you due to the Revolution Now protest that occurred about 5 years ago. I want to get your first reaction to how it feels to finally be free from all of this.
Well, I want to say clearly that I wasn't freed. I freed myself by ensuring that I didn't allow the government to break me. But the truth is that what they wanted was to obtain conviction without trial. That they did get. They got me restricted to Abuja for 5 years. To Nigeria for 5 years, seized my passport, and ensured that my regular life was disrupted to a large extent. It affected my family immensely. A brother of mine during that period was killed under still unknown circumstances on Benin Road. My mom had a stroke over this issue, and she's still down. I lost everything that is possible. And within the period they were doing all this, they broke my nose. You see a scar on my face. They shot at me with a federal riot gun. And they came to court in 2019. The DSS abducted me in front of a judge. If that is not punishment, then what is punishment? That's the question. But I did not break, and I didn't let them break me. And that's the only good news I have for all of you. But there's nothing that wasn't expected. We knew that this would happen, that those in government at that time, led by Buhari, would do everything to shut anybody down who was opposed to that ruinous regime and the political party in power at that time, which had continued to today.
So I want to find out from you, now that, this is quote-unquote over, are you going to still look at this campaign that you started in 2019 about the need for a revolution? Are you going to now say, okay, it has had its time, let's not let it go, and let's face other option of effecting better governance in the system?
It is no longer a campaign. The revolution has become a reality now. Even those who were opposed to me in 2019 are now calling for a revolution. Anybody who is asking for a parliamentary system of government somehow wants to change Nigeria. It's some kind of a revolution too. Those who are asking for the two bicameral legislative system to be shut down and combined into one are asking for, those who are asking for this country to be restructured are asking for a revolution, because all of this would have to change the constitution. But don't get me wrong, that is not the revolution I'm asking for. The revolution I'm asking for is for this system that's unjust, unfair, and killing our people to come to an end. And that's I've been very clear about. And one of the things that happened in 2019, August 5th, 2 days after I was arrested or abducted in Lagos and brought to Abuja on a jet, or on a twin-engine jet that I heard later crashed, killing some Air Force officers or Army officers. 5 million people searched for the meaning of the revolution, because then it was strange to them, the context. They didn't know what it was. But you go out now, you go on Twitter, you go everywhere, everybody is calling for a revolution because everybody is tired of this system. So I have not abandoned the campaign. I did not. It is the reason why I did not negotiate with anybody on this matter. 2 weeks after I was detained, they sent a delegation to me led by Issa Funtua and Garba Shehu, and said to me I should apologize to Buhari and they would let me go. I opted to stay in detention until 5 months later when I was granted bail and restricted to Abuja, because there is no negotiation, there's no going back. I'm sure that everybody knows at this time that Nigeria is ripe and due for a revolution.
Is there any chance that you're going to consider running for office of president again in Nigeria?
Democracy, yes. This is not a democracy. I don't think you should be saying that. Any system that cannot afford to have credible elections is not a democracy. Any system that cannot guarantee citizens fundamental rights is not a democracy. You should go and look up the meaning of democracy. I'm not insulting you. I mean, the basic meaning of democracy. You know that
apologies, but we have a constitution. We're run by the rule of law. Whether that rule of law is practiced in its totality in its form,
we don't have a constitution.
Whether it is run effectively in its form is a different kettle of fish. That's the premise. That's why you chose to run.
We don't have.
You chose to run for office rather than taking up arms to change a government. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to take up arms, but we don't have a constitution. Let me correct you. That thing that was imposed on Nigeria in 1999 is not a constitution. It was a military song of praises, SOP. You went to secondary school when we were using SOP. That one you put at the back pocket, you know. That's not a constitution. A constitution must be vetted by the people. That is why the preamble to every constitution says, we the people. Which people were there when they created the 1999 constitution? It was the military, and it was brought into effect by a decree. We don't have a constitution. Let's be very clear about that, because the more we tell the truth to ourselves, the better we feel about the way forward. We can't stay here on primetime TV and saying that you have a constitution. Who wrote the constitution? Was there a referendum that bettered the constitution into it? No. So we don't have a constitution, with due respect.
So, within the premise of civil rule and all of that, what do you propose besides this advocacy for revolution that we can do to effectively make sure that our people have...
I wish I have an alternative to sell you. I wish I have an alternative to sell you. I don't have an alternative to give you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So
there's no point.
Let's go to other issues. I'm sure you've had an experience with the law as well as the law enforcement agencies as well as the judiciary. What will be your own assessment? Because the same laws under which you were taken into custody is the same. Is some person in the judiciary that says, "Look, let this man go if you don't have any case against him." So, what's your assessment of the judiciary?
It is not the judiciary that let me go. It is not the judiciary.
It is a pronouncement of a judge.
And I spoke to the judge. I told the judge.
Go ahead, sir.
I told the judge to dismiss the case. That was a useless case. The judge gave another adjournment till April 15. It wasn't the judiciary that let me go. It was because I had bought my own freedom by refusing to back down. And they realized that this was not going anywhere. And it's important to mention that my lawyers took a position on this too, Femi Falana. He made it clear from day one that nobody can prosecute this case because there will be no evidence, and that they were just wasting their time. We told them that 5 years ago. So what they did was to violate their own rules, laws, and they violated the judiciary. So which judiciary? Is it the judge whose wig was flying in the air when I was abducted in the judge that you are calling the judiciary? No, they don't believe in all those things. So, and this is why I have issues with how we debate this issue. I think we should all come to a conclusion that we'll not be lying to ourselves anymore every 7 p.m. on Politics Today about the
Mr. Sowore, nobody's lying to anyone.
Of Nigeria.
Nobody's lying to
anyone. I'm just saying that we have to take a decision, all of us, that we can't be saying that we have a judiciary where a citizen can be abducted in front of the judge, and the judge will call the case the next day, behave as if they didn't know that there was an abduction. No, or you are talking about when I was granted bail and after I fulfilled my bail condition, they refused to release me. When they released me, they came back abducted. Is that the judiciary? Or the National Assembly, led by a senator and a former NAS president, Bamidele, who had a sitting and determined that the DSS was and withheld the report till today. Or the Nigerian Bar Association, that made no position about my situation. But the American Bar Association sent lawyers every day to court and wrote a report that I did nothing wrong. So these are all the components of your judiciary. And the law enforcement system is a rogue system. It's a rogue system. These things I'm saying to you are things that will bear me witness in the future.
Mr. Sowore, as much
here and be sugarcoating that you have a democracy, you have a judiciary, or you have a system in place that is called the rule of law. None.
Well, Mr. Sowore, I am sure that
I've lived long enough to be able to tell you the truth and damn the consequences, and whatever happens to me. I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that you have a judiciary, you have a constitution, when you know there is none. We're just running a system of transactions.
You have your ideas as to how to get things fixed. The president has come on 29th of May last year to remove subsidy and then floated the naira a few months later. And then we're here with these challenges we are facing, and the government is saying we should be patient, that things are going to shape up. The inflation numbers came up yesterday, 29.9, which is literally 30%, and it's quite difficult for a lot of people. If you were to be in the position, what exactly would you have done differently to make this a better situation?
So that's exactly the reason why I was having a back and forth with you. Because during the election, I was here on your show, and I was discussing about the economy, how and why you should not float the naira. And the response was that I was inexperienced, that I don't know what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, the more I spoke, the less airtime I got from the national media during the election. They prefer people who come here and lie to you. I had stated it clearly that this way was the highway to hell for Nigerians, removal of subsidy. I was the only candidate in the 2023 election that said I won't remove subsidy. Because there's none. I'll remove the people who are stealing subsidy. And that is exactly what I was going to do. And I said I won't float the naira. In fact, I will revalue the naira, because that's what they did in all these countries across Africa. But you guys are more comfortable with all these fake economists that come on your shows and lie to you that if you remove subsidy, people's life will be better. You're going to have a highway from Lagos to Maiduguri. You remove subsidy now for how many months? Where's the highway? Where are the schools? You know, what's the level of poverty in the country? Have they created employment? No. Has insecurity improved? No. But you don't like to talk to us. You don't like to repeat. I could just sit back home and be having fun. Now, so you play everything I said during the election. The few times I had the chance to speak, when I told you that the IMF and the World Bank have nothing to offer this country, I told you guys where we could get money from without ways and means. I told you that the Central Bank of Nigeria was a glorified bureau de change, where people just go and collect money and change it. They are the ones who crashed the naira. It is those people who have dollars and they are holding it. You cannot have a Central Bank of Nigeria that is engaging in retail banking. And major banks in the country, as I heard Bode George said even recently, all the bank MDs are just doing what they call round tripping. They collect naira in the money, hold it. It's the same central bank that's supposed to be in charge of the monetary policy that also runs the BDC. So they collect the money and they change the price, or they hold it, and then the price goes up and they make their money. Why would anybody want to build a factory if they can wake up and make 300 million naira in a day because they are related to the president of the country? All of these guys have BDC, senators, you know, House of Rep members, ministers, you know, the central bank governor of that period that none of you want to talk about is in jail now, accused of stealing 6 million naira to election observers. I didn't know that Nigeria was paying election observers. But when I was saying it in those days, you guys don't want to hear me. That's the truth.